Hello and welcome back to another and slightly unexpected episode. I'm actually back up in the spare room where yesterday I was playing the fantastic game Haunting on the Mega Drive. And I'm up here because this afternoon something unexpected just came into our lives. We were actually in town. My wife and I were visiting a department store called Phoenix in Newcastle. And, we were there actually to get some wool. Long story short, we're thinking about Christmas and what we want to try and make people for Christmas as their presents. And wool was a key ingredient, so we were there to buy wool. But we were also there because a friend of ours gave us a really cool tip about an experience that you can have at the moment in Phoenix in one of their lifts. If you go into the right lift, the doors will open and you will see this. Now, as you can agree, that is pretty darn cool, and we actually rode that lift a couple of times just to get a moment when it was empty, because when we first went in, actually, what greeted us was not Captain Phasma, but instead it was a lift full of geeky, gothy types, trying desperately to look as though, oh, is there something in this lift? Oh, trying to look really casual and nonplussed, but actually they were loving it. So it was really quite interesting, that first trip in the lift, but a very cool thing. Anyway, but while we were there, not only did this occur, not only did we get to go in that lift and experience Captain Phasma watching over us with her gun, but also, actually, on my phone, I was notified by our local cinema of a certain trailer dropping in Japan, or certainly coming to their attention from Japan. And that was the Japanese trailer for Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, it's actually different, so I've been told, it's different to the ones that we've seen so far. So actually, Mr. Abrams sort of lied, or told a half-truth when he said no more trailers were coming. It turns out that actually there was an extra trailer coming, and this trailer is apparently very interesting. So I thought, as I have done so far, I would have a look at the trailer and share with you some thoughts upon reviewing it. Let's dive in, shall we?
Who are you?
I'm no one. Where do you come from? I know all about waiting. For my family.
I will fulfill our destiny. I will finish what you started.
I don't know your name.
Finn.
I'm right. There are stories about what happened.
The Force. It's true. All of it.
Hope is not lost today. It is found.
Well, that is a different beast, is it not? It's similar to the final trailer that was released, certainly to in the American and English-speaking realms, but that is different. The first thing that stands out in my mind actually is the shot of the TIE fighters flying out of the sun. That's really cool. I love the reference, and this might be a spoiler, who knows, to the notion that Rey is waiting for her family. Who are her family? Oh, who could that be? Who could that be? That's, yeah. Rey and Finn introduced themselves to each other. That was kind of cool. We saw Princess Leia. I think I heard a Wilhelm scream at one point in that trailer. There's the really interesting nuance of the addition of Kylo Ren saying something like, "I will finish our legacy," or I'll continue our legacy. Presumably when talking to Darth Vader. Why is he saying that to Darth Vader? Why does he count himself as continuing our legacy, as though there's some sort of relationship between the two of them? And of course, that amazing shot with the lightsaber coming just past Rey's face. She looks aware, shall we say, that lightsaber was there. That is, again, incredibly cool. It's a lovely little tidbit, and I really wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting anything else to come until December. So when that sort of appeared in my Facebook feed, I was like, yeah, whatever, it's going to be the same trailer with like Japanese subtitles. And it's not. The music is different. But also, the opening shot, with Rey presumably at the back of the exhaust of the Star Destroyer, that's beautiful. That's actually manga-esque, or anime-esque. That sort of wide, massive scale, the wind catching her scarf or cloak. That's cool. That is pretty darn cool. And then this idea that hope has not died today. It has been found. Sort of ties in ish with A New Hope, episode 4, but also confirms that when she's crying over possibly Han, possibly Chewie, someone, that there is a sense that there is the potential for hopelessness because of it. So clearly it's a major character, or has a major effect on people in terms of this question of hope. This death does. Then again, I'm saying clearly, we don't know anything, do we? These are very carefully managed images and sounds and music, and Mr. Abrams is infamous for this kind of thing. I mean, with the Star Trek Into Darkness trailer, or trailers or material, there was extra footage in the Japanese trailer there, which people lost their shit about as well. And many people got things horribly wrong. And I won't be at all surprised if I do get things horribly wrong, but in terms of my assumptions, but it's interesting. This one feels like it's giving away a little bit more. And might Rey, in fact, know who her family is and be waiting for them to come to her? Or has she just been told that something is out there that they're waiting for her, potentially? I guess we'll find out soon enough. But anyway, hopefully you've heard about this trailer, and hopefully you're going to give it a quick watch. Initially, I was slightly concerned it might get taken down by Disney, but it looks like it's an official release from Disney. It's not been leaked or anything. So, interesting. Now, before you go, before I let you go, before you go, you really should, incidentally, check out this book. This is The Star Wars. It is a comic sort of rendering of, or based on, George Lucas's original script for Star Wars. And it says on the back, before Star Wars, there was The Star Wars. And it's very, very good. And notably, actually, Luke Skywalker is older in this. He's an old general. And he looks an awful lot like a youngish or middle-aged George Lucas, which I quite like. And there's lots of little lovely sort of repeating motifs. So, for example, the cantina scene is in here in a slightly different way. The original designs, for example, for C-3PO are in here, as in Ralph McQuarrie's paintings. It's how Star Wars could have been if things had taken a slightly different turn, but they didn't. And so it's almost like reading an alternate universe when you read this. I can highly recommend it, though. It's very, very interesting. And there seems to be, I'm not going to say precisely which, but there seems to be elements of this which might be being used in the new in the new trilogy. There's one thing that I really like about this, and that is the use of, or the fact that actually the stormtroopers do in fact have access to lightsabers. You can see that, and it does sort of make sense that that these energy swords could also be used, not necessarily as well as they are used by the Jedi, but certainly used by people who are in charge of the military. I mean, swords, were issued to fairly standard grunts in the past. Of course, depends on what type of sword, but basic swords were handed out in the military in the past. So I like that idea, that the idea that stormtroopers in this alternate Star Wars had lightsabers. They aren't very good with them. In this story, it's quite clear that the Jedi, or the Jedi Bendu, as they're known in this, are better with the lightsaber. But it's a cool notion. There's also little things, echoes of designs that you see in, for example, Star Wars Episode 1 as well in there. Anyway, thought you might like to know about that. It's a really good book. Right, okay, so that's everything I have to say on this particular topic. Hopefully you've lasted this long in the video. Well done if you have. But this is popped up into our lives this afternoon. I simply had to comment on it because I got very excited in a very public space. But I don't mind, because it was Star Wars. Star Wars is worth it. Anyway, as ever guys, until next time, do take care.